Hi everyone, my name is Shitiz. I'm a Master's in Public Policy student specializing in ESG and sustainability. I'd like to thank Women Ascension for inviting me on the talk about the topic of transition to a green economy. And the whole concept of green economy, sustainable development, climate change, it's not just about saving the trees anymore. And it's about creating a future where we can all thrive. And this is where sustainability comes in, right? Simply meaning that we have to meet the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their needs. And the whole notion of green economy is not replacing sustainable development. It's actually creating a new focus on the positive economic, social, and environmental sides across the world. Something that we all need to realize is that climate change is not a standalone problem, and we have to consider the interconnectedness of climate change with issues like poverty, education, inequality, food security, and biodiversity loss. The rising temperatures can intensify poverty by affecting agricultural productivity, and the World Bank has estimated that nearly 100 million people will be pushed into poverty by 2030 just because of climate change impacts on agriculture, and that is huge. It can also increase the frequency of natural disasters. It can disproportionately impact the vulnerable communities, and the people living in poverty and the people in the marginalized populations have fewer resources to cope with the climate shocks, and it makes them more vulnerable. And moreover, more environmental degradation and loss of biodiversity can further exacerbate climate change. So this creates a vicious cycle of destruction. And the core issue, being a public policy student, what I could think of is that the core issue behind all the emissions, beyond behind all the greenhouse gas emissions, is energy requirement by countries. And historically, coal has been a cheap and reliable source of energy, making it attractive for developing countries, or for that matter any country. And however, it's a major contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, that's a given. But there is also no debating the fact that whether you are a historical polluter, whether you are a current polluter, everyone has got a responsibility to meet the climate commitments under the Paris Agreement of not exceeding the 1.5 degrees Celsius limit, and everyone is responsible to that. Now, countries like India lead by example in the global south in energy diversification. India is a great example of developing nations making significant strides in diversifying its energy resources. India has become the world's fourth largest producer of renewable energy. India has the second largest solar capacity globally. India also aims to achieve a target of 450 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity by 2030. And on top of that, India aims to achieve net zero by 2070. So developing nations can actually prioritize energy access while transitioning to cleaner resources. The energy technologies, the renewable energy technologies, are becoming increasingly affordable and efficient if you have the right tech. Strong government policies and private sector investment are crucial in this. But then here comes finding the right balance between being ambitious and being practical. So government will play a major role in drafting policies which are actually achievable, and not just being ambitious for the sake of being, having the image of becoming a green economy. So you have to be practical in setting the targets for your country. Now, many countries have targeted becoming net zero by 2050, with of course India among other countries being an exception, that we have targeted 2070 as the net zero year because of our own capacities and capabilities and also responsibilities. Now, see the fact that no country till now has achieved net zero. So every country, every nation has its own path to chart, to become net zero. And now here comes the debate of common but differentiated responsibilities, polluters pay principle, historical contributions to climate change, and all this plays a major role, because at the end of the day, money and tech are something which will have the final say. and it'll have to be transferred from the global north or the historical emitters, whatever you want to call them. The government has its own set of challenges, responsibilities, and policy making. And but what is interesting is the role of private sector. The Milton Friedman, among others, have claimed it that the only responsibility of the private sector is to earn profit, and rightly so. But guess what? You can be sustainable and also profitable in the long term. As easy as retrofitting a building today, a green building today will save the cost in the future. So, embracing sustainable practices today isn't just an ethical choice, it's a profitable one. The private sector, in particular, stands to gain significantly by aligning its operations with sustainability, by investing in renewable energy, by adopting eco friendly technologies, by prioritizing environmental responsibility. Businesses can not only enhance their bottom line but also contribute positively to the society and the planet. In a sense, sustainability isn't just doing about the right thing, it's about creating a future where profitability and environmental stewardship can go hand in hand. And it's not just about a nation or a region, but we all need to work together on sectoral and geographical pathways to build a green subcontinent. So I'd like to end my talk on that. Thank you.